Coming to you now is action from the Ultimate 10-Ball Championship. Welcome along, everybody. Great to have you here as we are coming to you live from Tunica, Mississippi. My name is Mark Wilson. Alongside me is WPBA Hall of Famer Belinda Calhoun. We have a great matchup here, Belinda. Welcome aboard. Great to have you.
We're in for a really good match. Helena just came off a 7-0 win over Nicole Keeney, top 16 player, so she's hitting them pretty good. Her opponent, Jia Li, won her first 3 rounds in the event. She beat Melissa Rodemakers, Jennifer Beretta, and Janet Atwell. So she must be hitting them pretty good. She did have a loss to Allison Fisher her last round, so we're in for a great match.
I was also informed that Jia Li had beaten Karen Corr in the finals of some type of Northwest or Northeast tournament, which, that's formidable if you're taking down Karen Corr in any event.
Certainly is.
Well, we're prepared for the lag now. Both players shake hands. Helena, originally from Sweden, now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. Jia Li, originally from China, now resides in Tokyo, Japan.
She moved there to do training, right, Mark?
That's the way I understand it. She's there training. I don't know exactly if that's the entirety of the reason that she lives there. But nonetheless, a lot of great players in both countries. And Jia Li has won the break. Race to 7, 10-ball. Tell us a little bit about the rules, Belinda.
Well, it's a little bit different than 9-ball. First of all, they're playing fouls on all balls, so the players have to be very careful not to disturb another ball with their cue, their clothing, hair, whatever it is. Don't even breathe on one, or it's a foul. You have to call your ball and your pocket. Incidental contact, doesn't matter, but you do have to call your ball and your pocket. In the event that you make a ball that you weren't trying to make, your opponent would have the option. Or if you made the ball in a different pocket, say, the incoming player would have the option.
Well, Jia Li looks up here as if to say, we're ready to go here. Are you guys ready? And we are.
I like her already, Mark. She's left-handed.
That's right. Left-handers tend to be very smooth. Cue ball got away a little bit on the break. One railed into the corner pocket. Ball in hand. Great opportunity here for Helena to get comfortable. We're using the magic rack as well, which seems to speed up the matches a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to have a perfect rack every time.
Beautiful venue here. We got the men playing alongside the women. I mean, don't you love it? I know I do and miss it.
Oh, it's great. It's really a treat to be able to watch the men.
Well, we feel the same. You guys always class up and add a little elegance to the event. It's the way it should be.
Okay, Helena wants to set a good tone this first match. She started off with ball in hand, so she wants to send a message to her opponent.
Nice shot there. Helena, a journeyman tour veteran of the WPBA.
Now, will she have to shoot the 5 in the same pocket, Mark? Can't tell if it goes.
I think that's where she would like to get, so she's going to stun this back out across the table. Good shot there, Helena.
Well, I think it'll be critical the angle she achieves on the 7, so that she'd like to get straight either in the corner or the side so that she can stay there for the 8, but I think that'll be the out ball.
Yeah, appears to be very comfortable managing the balls here. Helena does look to be in good form.
Yeah, I ran into her after her last match. She was grabbing a bite to eat and asked her how she did. She said, I played awesome. So she's feeling it. You know, one thing I do like about Helena's game, Mark, is she really holds to the rule that if you're not 100% sure, do not pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
She's managed to follow that rule very closely.
Yeah, very deliberate player, but gets the job done fairly quickly because she's so accurate. She doesn't miss many, so she takes a little bit, a few seconds more than most players, but she doesn't miss as often, so there's less innings per match.
He might be going across. No, she stayed there.
She wants to come down and check what angle she would like to get on the 9 ball. You know, another thing that I like about Helena is that she genuinely loves the sport. You know, it's not about, hey, look at me, I can play this good, but she really loves to play pool. So much so she even opened the pool room, which actually usually cuts down on your pool playing. But
Right.
nonetheless, it does help to provide some income for you to continue to play. Yeah, good stroke, good solid stroke there.
A little jacked up on this.
Yeah, it got a little funny here, but when you're in, you know, after you've run 8 balls or 7 balls, whatever this is, your arm's a little freer and you feel a little more confident. I think we're going to see her get out.
I don't think she likes it.
No, clearly not. So,
She's going to have to follow it down and back.
good shot. Yeah, side pocket at that speed is particularly unforgiving, so you have to hit it very pure.
Yeah, particularly on the diamonds.
Yeah, small side pockets here. Very nice opening rack here from Helena Thornfeldt. She now leads the match 1-0.
Nice job, Helena.
Yeah, managed those balls nicely. Really was not threatened anywhere along the way. She grabs the magic rack. Tell us a little bit about your event, Belinda.
Well, I finished 17th through 24th.
Well, that's a nice finish.
Not too bad, not too bad. I felt like I played really good, you know, or better than I've been playing. I've actually had a chance to play a little more often here lately. Started a WPBA regional tour in North and South Carolina, so that helps to get helps to get you kind of like in tournament stroke, you know.
Yeah.
Play a little bit under the gun, so it's hard with the events so far and few between to stay sharp, so it's helped, I can tell.
Well, we get our first look at the Sledgehammers break. Isn't that her nickname?
The Sledgehammer.
Yeah, big break. Well done. 2-ball finds the corner pocket. Looks like the cue ball's going to be threatened to dripping into the pocket. And it is. So she's returned the favor back to Jolie. She scratched on the break. Now Helena's scratched on the break to open the match.
Well, the 4-5's tied up here, so she's going to have to figure out a way to negotiate that or play up to a safety on the 4. Or, you know what, Mark? She could go into the 5 right here and break those up and, you know, have a decent shot on the 3. Let's see how aggressive she is.
Oh, I think she's definitely going to attack the 5-ball here and then do something with the 3. If she doesn't like it, she can still play a safety because she does not figure to be hooked after this shot. Just as I said that, she gets hooked.
Unless you hit the wrong side of the 5.
Now, I have to tell you, you know, she really shouldn't have played it with a pace that would even allow for this to happen. You just nudge it apart. You don't have to bash it apart. The referee's getting called out here to observe the jump shot. That's a great thing about this event. It's a class facility, but then they also provide referees, so you don't have to go hunting for them everywhere. They usually have 2 to 4 tables to manage.
Right, area referees, but they're on the ball. I mean, you just raise your hand and they're there. Nice
What
jump
a shot that was. Oh boy, she made that look easy. I don't know if I've ever made a shot that looked that good.
Mark, don't you remember? What year was that?
Yeah, very nice. She's now called a bank shot on the 4. Apparently, she can't see the whole thing. This would be kind of a one-pocket style bank where the cue ball passes in front of the 4, topspin, and that provides some distance. She'll play this with a medium speed so that should she miss, the 4 ball will rebound to the center of the end rail.
Two-way shot, but oh, yep.
Yep, perfectly played.
Well, Helena has a 9 ball.
To hide behind, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Linda's talking about a defensive shot. Dragging the cue ball over to the 9, however, puts quite a bit of power on the 4 ball, so control of the 4 ball is a little bit iffy. When you certainly want to be committed to your shot, and it looks like Helena is preparing herself for whatever it is she decides, but like Belinda said, she does think it through before she executes.
Oh, she's using a center ball. She must have something else in mind.
Oh boy, that could be really good. Well, she's not going to be completely hooked, but boy, it's a tough shot. And Charlie comes to the table, see what she has available.
Let's see if we can get a closer look at that, Mark.
Well, let's just see if we can. That's not a close look. Well, apologies here. I didn't pay attention.
Looks like she's going for it, Mark.
Sometimes you're in the corner where it's not easy to play safe, so you end up shooting just because safety looks very difficult as well. Oh, what a beautiful hit. Gorgeous
Nice
shot. She didn't try to overdo it either, and she did use the 7 and 10 as potential defensive blockers.
Right.
So.
Excuse me. That was a nice shot. Built in the safety, you know.
Well thought out.
But now what?
Same shot. That's what she gets.
She's looking in the side pocket.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it does back cut in there. Our perspective is a bit skewed. Sometimes shots look much more difficult than they actually are. Then other times we think balls are available that actually aren't. We're about 25 feet away from the table. Yeah.
Well, you know, that's a difficult shot with the slower pace like that. You know, she wanted to make sure she didn't lose her cue ball. And
that also made her a little bit more inclined to hit it heavy to take some pace out of it, too.
Right.
So.
She got a fortunate result, though. The ball could have hit the point and stayed right there.
Well, this is going to be a tough shot here for Helena, too. You and I have both watched Helena play for a lot of years, and I will tell you one thing. Irrespective of the score, she will fight you to the last ball. There's no quit in her.
No,
ever.
not at all.
Yeah, that's a very admirable characteristic, and it makes her double tough to beat. She doesn't always have her best game, but you always get her best at that moment. It's one of those tricky circumstances as well. You really need to play this with just a tick of inside English, but then that complicates accuracy, and you got to travel the cue ball quite a ways. She doesn't appear to be going with inside, so she's going to go into the 10, that looks like. No, not settled on that. Maybe she was just measuring it up, changed her mind. I like the fact that she stood back up.
Yeah, I think she's going to look at the inside mark along 3 rails for position on the 6. Yep.
She doesn't appear to be cueing with left English, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, she's got inside on that roll.
She did. She did.
Oh, look
hit
at
the
this.
point. Yeah. Yeah, but not that much worse for wear. I mean, either way, if it goes by there, she's going to be okay too. So.
Well, she was trying to go long 3 rails. I said,
absolutely.
or you can always, plan to hit the side pocket, and that'll knock you over.
Oh, you did say that. Okay. But either way, the only thing about it is sometimes it shakes your confidence just a little bit. She's been pocketing balls pretty nicely all along the way, and now we have a couple fans walking along the aisleway here. That's a bit unusual.
But she actually hit the 5 ball really, really nicely.
Yeah, very nice.
Ooh.
Just barely overcut it, but hit it very nice pace, nice transition, backswing to foreswing there. I have absolutely no criticism of her technique.
Well, the fact that she hit the 6 a little bit too thin, that's what made her run into the 7. I think she was planning on shooting the 7 in the same pocket. Caught it just a hair thin. Helena's been playing balls out of the pocket really nice. I've watched her do several of them, rail first around the table to get to the other end or just to get to the side pocket. She's been hitting those really nice.
Mm-hmm.
She's also been hitting this over and back very accurately.
Just a gut feeling, because I've never been there, but I would bet that Helena practices on a diamond table in her pool room. And I don't even know what kind of tables they have, but she just looks so comfortable with this table, and if you're not familiar with them, they can be a little intimidating. Sigh there from Helena as she prepares to make this penultimate ball.
Just a little more distance, but she got the perfect angle, so she shouldn't let it bother. Just remember to stay down and not move. And not grip the cue too tightly,
Yeah. She's generally very good about staying still on her shot.
Not ready yet. She's ready to pull the trigger now. Beautiful.
Hit the heart of the pocket and
moved up her body just a little bit, but not enough to make her miss a shot. I wonder if we're in for another 7-0, Mark.
That'd be remarkable. But it is 2-0 here in the early goings. Helena Thornfeldt in the lead. Jolly will be breaking. Belinda, do you suppose your husband Jay would be listening in?
Well, I don't know. If maybe on his phone, Mark. He was on his way to deliver some furniture today.
Jay is a big believer in the sport, loves the sport, follows the sport, and in his behalf, I'll try to articulate in smaller words so he knows what we're talking about. You want to explain it to him later. Single syllables. Just kidding, Jay. He's probably home counting his money. Here's a nice view. We got a timeout here in the early goings. We got a nice view out here in the arena.
Who
Great
is that,
players
Mark?
everywhere. Well, never ask your co-commentator something he doesn't know, Belinda.
Sorry
I'm
about that.
forced to lie.
Well, you're closer to the screen. I thought you might be able to make something out.
I'm going to make something up.
There you go. I tell you, this venue is just beautiful. The high ceilings, and it's the contrast between your surroundings and the table is really nice.
Mhm.
You know, there's not a lot of things to get in your way. There's nothing that distracts you. It's beautiful. It really is.
A very nice dark background with bright lights over the tables. This is kind of a cool rule. We have some good rules here. But on your 5-minute timeout, if your opponent takes it and you leave the arena, that is also utilizing your own timeout. And I kind of like that because in the past it was sort of like if your opponent took a timeout and then you left, but then you might come back after they do. And so then, but you still have one in your pocket. So when you wanted your timeout, you could use it or not use it. And then this way, I think it's fair. I think it's a better way to implement the rule.
Well, it certainly will save potentially 5 minutes because, like you say, if each player has a break, that's 10 minutes total. If you take your break, I guess you could still take your break if you didn't. Well, you have to stay in the arena, and also another. The world rules are being applied here. The WPA World Pool Board Association is sanctioning this event. And during your breaks, you're not allowed to hit balls on your table or any other table. It's counted as a break for you if you leave the arena when your opponent leaves the arena. If it's your turn, you can take a break during your rack. That's different from WPBA rules. WPBA rules, you have to take your break between games. Now, it doesn't have to be your break, but you have to take them between games. Also, on your break, there's no smoking. If you're a smoker, most of the time, a player might take a break while they're gone. They might grab a couple puffs or something, but there's no smoking allowed during your break.
No smoking or drinking. That rules me right out there.
Or, yeah, I think that's a great rule.
I do too, yeah. I like Ken Schulman's analysis of that. He says, listen, folks, I'm a smoker, and I can make it through, so you're going to have to also.
Well, and I love the strictness in which they are applying the dress code. If you show up out of dress code, you just forfeit your match.
Right. Yeah, there's no forgiveness. That's your warning at the players' meeting, and also the sportsmanship. If the referee sees fit to issue a warning, that comes along with a one-game penalty immediately, not a potential threat of a one-game penalty, and thereafter it's subsequently forfeiture of match. So that polices that, and as long as it's defined and clear, to me, totally fair. Jopley has re-entered the arena. Helena is still missing in action right now. So we will not be seeing any more breaks this match.
So, Mark, I'm excited to hear about your scholarship program. Tell me all about it.
Oh, this is a pretty cool thing. Lindenwood University, St. Charles, Missouri, just outside of St. Louis, has installed a billiards program there.
What's the name of the university?
Lindenwood University.
Lindenwood.
Linden, Lindenwood.
Lindenwood, okay.
Yeah. And they said, listen, we insist on having first-rate athletic programs, and we're thinking of installing a billiards program. We think that you might be the right guy to lead it. Would you be interested? So we talked about it a little bit, and I was fascinated by the proposition. Due to the fact that every time I deal with ESPN, they always say, if you had a better demographic, then we could do more for you, And so this gets us kids involved, and we got some, you're not a pool player at Lindenwood, but you're a student athlete. And then they awarded scholarship money to the kids to come there and play pool. And so we have kids coming from all over the world just to play pool and study.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, great education. So if anyone's interested out there, go to lindenwood.edu, or you can just call me. Jolly's back, breaking. Good square hit there, Belinda. Not a lot of power, though. She had a little backspin on the cue ball.
Didn't make anything.
So that was more of the tack hammer break there.
Well, I think she drew it too much, don't you think, Mark?
Yeah, right. The backspin definitely took away some of the velocity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, if anybody out there is listening, we're heading with the team to Phoenix, Arizona, the end of the month. Was the 29th and 30th to play the Nationals out there, Collegiate Billiards Nationals. Come out and support Lindenwood.
So what kind of expectations do you have for your team, Mark?
Well, we have a really nice team, and especially coming this fall, we have quite a few kids. Well, we have some professional talent coming this fall, so it won't be much of a college threat. We're going to be competing in some professional events, I believe.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, the college scene is a little bit weak, and I've been trying to build that up in other schools. But nonetheless, we're going to have so many good recruits that we have to play other schools with our B or C team to make it legitimately fair at all.
I hear that as a challenge to all the other universities out there to get your pool program going.
That really would be what's upmost in my mind, is to see, we're not just all the best. I would like it to be much more competitive than that. It's just that right now we're the only ones doing it. Helena's got a bank shot here on the 3.
Nice speed.
And that's why I'm talking about her comfort level of banking and handling the rails on the diamond. Just seems like she's familiar, more so than someone that just plays on a different brand table all the time and then hops up here on these championship conditions. She does look very comfortable.
I can tell you that really, it's big when you're not adjusted to the speed, or you're playing on equipment that's slower or faster or whatever.
The rail response is more lively than you're familiar with,
right.
Perhaps.
Well, not only that, it affects the pattern you play too.
And just the pocket's willingness to accept balls from a variety of angles. Some pockets are more forgiving or less forgiving.
Let me qualify that when I say a different pattern, a different angle that you want to achieve on your, within your pattern.
Right.
Depending on the speed of the table, and it's tough to adjust to that while you're at the tournament. Nice shot.
This is actually a huge rack here if Helena could get out, because it would put so much pressure on and her opponent's playing well. She's not getting much chance to play.
Right.
Then that really puts some heat on you and makes it much tougher to come back.
Right, 3-0 in the race to 7.
Right, the math really conspires against you shortly thereafter, because that means Helena you could only allow her to win 3 more games after that. Nice. Well, she did a good job getting close to the 7.
She got perfect on that ball. It's a shame that with the 2.5 hour segments that that they have allowed for the matches, it's a shame the women couldn't play to 9 or 8 or 10 even. Like I believe the men's races are to 10.
They are.
So at least 9. 7 is such a short race. Oh my goodness.
Standing in the background, I see Mike Massey there, our old friend. Good to see him here. He's came and support the Lindenwood program a couple times by doing exhibitions and challenge matches, and then even coached a couple times for us. Yeah, so it is. Had a few other pros stop by and assist for a day as just a goodwill gesture. Makes it pretty cool. We're sponsored by Adidas, so we got all Adidas wear. That's really cool. So we're getting a little momentum going. We're building a brand new billiards arena. Is under construction right now, nearly done.
Well, Mark, too bad there's not 100 or 1,000 of you to get programs like that started all around the country.
Yeah, well, we definitely need some assistance out there, So.
Helena knows how important it is to make sure she secures this game.
Good shot. And you hate like heck to go through a nice rack and then give it away.
Oh, don't I know?
The difference of 2 to 1 and 3 to nothing is enormous.
Particularly in a race to 7.
Good job there. She got through a nice rack there. I'm not saying it was super tough. I'm just saying she was very consistent, under control, never threatened.
And in line on every shot.
That's what I mean. Yeah, very smooth.
If you think about it, players out there, how many times do you go through a rack where you got exactly where you were planning on getting and shooting exactly the same shot you were planning on getting with the same cueing? It's not that often.
Well, we have a ball missing, it looks like. Yeah.
Top right corner.
Blending, that's where it's at.
I played on this table before.
Uh-huh. Oh,
There we go. Oh, she just couldn't find it. She couldn't find her Easter egg.
You know, that's a great training tip, too, Belinda. Have you ever played, like, just throw out 15 balls and just run them, any order, any shot, any sequence, but you have to call the next shot and pocket? You will be very humbled by that. You know, for those of you sitting at home thinking I could do that easy, just go out there and give it a try. See what you average for 10 racks of that. Yeah, because as soon as you get a little out of line and you still have to play the shot that you previously called, now call the next one. And then pretty soon, kaboom, you're finding yourself running 2 and 3 balls.
And if you find that that's not a challenge, which I'm sure you will, designate the next 2 balls.
Never got that far. Well, the sledgehammer came up dry here too. So.
Well, the cue ball's frozen to the 1, or right there close to it, and Jolie doesn't have an offensive shot. It's kind of like when you're playing good, you're getting good rolls too.
Mm-hmm.
But she could turn it around here by playing a good safety. Ooh.
It's hard to tell if Helena has to kick or if she can see the edge of the 1 ball. In the event that you have to kick, it's a good idea to call a ball somewhere just in case it goes in. It really costs you nothing to call something. You know what I mean, Belinda? Like,
Yeah.
if I was going to kick at the 1 here, I would call the 10 in the corner, just on the off chance that it did fluke in there somehow.
Or the 1.
Or the 1, yeah, right. I just meant to call something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I played Helena earlier, and she'd be kicking. She'd say, whatever ball it was, the 4 ball, just in case, she says.
Yeah, no rail, so ball in hand. And it's going to be a pretty nice 1-10 combination here for Jolie to get a little momentum.
I feel like she finally got a little air, huh?
Yeah, right. Maybe she can feel a little bit more in the match, pick up a little momentum from this, a little confidence.
3-1, she's right in it.
Good shot, hit the heart of the pocket, picks up a game. And it'll be her break.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah. You know, there's 2 really difficult games to win, that being the first and last, so I think the first one's the second most difficult, and that last one is the most difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how you see these matches come hill, and there'll be 4 balls left and the guy's in line, and then somehow things happen, and 20 minutes later they're still playing with 4 balls left on the table or something. It's absolutely bizarre how that happens.
All of a sudden the pockets shrink down to peanut size.
Yeah, I always like what Buddy Hall said one time, because it kind of applies to this. He says, if you think the pockets are too loose, you're not betting high enough. Yeah, it's true, you get a little more pressure on yourself.
Buddy just celebrated a birthday within, a couple weeks ago or something. Happy birthday, Buddy. I think he turned 69, maybe? That's impossible.
I know, how's the time slip by?
Boy.
The greatest money 9-ball player that ever lived, perhaps, certainly American-wise. Won major events, all the big money events for 4 decades. Consider him kind of like the Babe Ruth of pool.
And just a super guy.
Got so much wisdom. One of the prettiest strokes you've ever seen.
Mark, he hits every shot exactly the same speed.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Whether he has to go an inch or 20 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got that great timing.
He does. Actually, where was it? At the trade show one year, we had a company there that had some electronic equipment that would measure your the amount of contact time on your stroke, your tip time, and Buddy's was just like 5/1000ths of a second, which was a long time on a hit. For example, Grady was there, and I think he was like a 1/8 or something like that. So, just that stroking through the cue ball, keeping your tip on the cue ball as long as possible.
Very interesting.
Just stellar timing. Helena's stroke. My good friend Robert McCullough, who passed away last August, sad to say, he was a fabulous coach. He worked with Helena and several other girls. I worked with them, and Mary Keniston, and Garino, sorry, Mary, Nesley, O'Hare.
Boy, good shot there.
She didn't even hesitate. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about, Mark.
No, you were talking about the time on the ball with the tip. You
were. Right. So we would discuss, the different people who he was working with, and he was always trying to get Helena to improve her time. She's very heavy-handed. She's got a lot of her acceleration before she gets to the cue ball and right at the cue ball, but she's evened it out a little over the years, and it's working out for her. But he used to just drill her on her stroke timing.
I think people don't think, well, how would you improve that? And I also don't know because I didn't do it. But usually when you want to teach yourself something, take it to the simplest form first and just practice real simple shots and try to get a little more time in, but not in elbow collapse to get it. You don't want to do it that way.
Right.
But nice slow speed. Sometimes the balls can be a bit distracting, so that's why you want a non-threatening shot to work on with, so you're not worried about making or missing.
Well, I think if you think about shooting the backside of the cue ball, in other words, picturing that the backside of the cue ball is where you want to hit rather than the front side of it, so that you extend through,
Right, and for those of you that can't visualize what blended shoot, you might think of the part closest to the object ball as the backside.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Helena's going to a part of a pocket here, past the 8. Well, she's rethinking that.
These pockets aren't real forgiving, or they weren't this morning. They might have dried out a little bit by now, but she has to hit the long rail going down. Oh, no, she didn't have to hit anything.
Smooth. Yeah, good job there. She stayed pretty still on that one, too.
And here's that shot I was talking about. She's hitting these balls real good. The over and back, cutting over and back. She's hitting. She never missed one. I haven't seen her miss one this tournament.
It's good to see her back in good form, too, isn't it?
That might be a little too far. I think she could let that out a little bit and hit the rail and bounced off. Over back and over and back. This is a tricky little shot, particularly on the tournament tables, with the cloth being new, relatively new, still even on the third day, they slide, and any sort of English more than a tip or so, it really causes it to slide.
Deceptively difficult angle here because you actually have chopped about a third of the pocket off, because if you touch the point going in, it will not accept it. So you only have about a ball and a third's margin of error. But you think the pocket's still big, but it really isn't. So that's what I say.
Back to the stroke timing, Mark, a good way to think about it percentage-wise is, or what you're trying to achieve is like an 80-20 percentage. 80% of your power to the cue ball and 20% through. Most players, non-professional players, would have like a 95-5. They've not used all 95% of their power and just 5% left to go through the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're trying to achieve if you want to, think of it in your head, an 80-20.
It seems that Helena was distracted by her opponent getting a cup of water now, so she's instructed the referee to ask her to refrain from doing that. Helena is a very temperamental player, as I remember.
She is.
Not criticizing it in any
No,
way. I'm
no,
just
not
saying,
at all.
and maybe it's better, because if she holds it in, then it tends to work against her. And it seems like if she goes through this, she seems to settle right back down.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't intentional
No.
by Xiaoli.
Three to 1 is our score as it stands right now. Thornfeldt in the lead, but a big shot here in front of her.
Helena's elbow looked really far out away from her body on that shot, more so than any of her other shots. I think that threw that shot off just enough, Mark.
Yeah, she was definitely spooked by it.
Well, and I don't think she ever fully recouped from the water situation, It breaks your concentration, and it's tough to get it, that really dialed in.
I think that's where you really have to deal with that before you even get to the venue, that if these things are going to happen, it was inadvertent. You don't think it was premeditated by her opponent.
Right.
And it can be upsetting or distracting for someone, but we know there's going to be some distractions. There's been people walk by the table. There's always some type of ambient noise that comes out of nowhere.
Referees talking to players, or the table right next to you finishes, and the two opponents are there, talking about the match and blah blah blah, and you're shooting right at that pocket. At that pocket, it's like you'll go ahead and shoot, and if you happen to miss, you go, "Oh my gosh, I should have waited." After doing that for so many years, so many tournaments, right? You're supposed to know that.
And if you allow those things to creep in,
right? You can't use that as an excuse. Of course, you can't be a pool player unless you have excuses.
That's right.
It's never your fault.
No, that's right. But we all know these things are eventually going to happen. It's not like they're never going to happen. There's not pristine conditions. So just plan for it. Be cognizant of it. The really great players, you watch them, they'll concentrate right on through it and never even wiggle. They just go right on through. I always admire that about guys like Ralph Souquet or something. Someone can walk right by the table. He doesn't even get flustered or anything. He just goes on, does his thing. Occasionally he'll miss anyway, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it.
Boy, was that good speed, huh?
Yeah, very nice.
Of course, she's got a real nice one-rail escape here. Keep her cue ball right behind the 10. Actually, I think you need to concentrate more on the angle that you need to keep the cue ball right there behind the 10 and not worry about the 8 hitting the 9 or anything, because if you're behind the 10, then,
Mm-hmm.
it could turn out good. I mean, she's within her.
So now the issue is now the match has been stopped, and the tournament director is going to be called over to issue a warning to Helena's opponent, Jali, regarding any movement or motion during her inning at the table. And I don't know how I feel about it, really. I don't necessarily feel it was intentional. I think it was more accidental or inadvertent, but Helena clearly thinks it was meant towards her.
Well, regardless whether it was intentional or not, Mark, the rule is, I think Helena wants to have her opponent have an official warning. That way, if it were to happen again, it would be loss of a game.
Right,
so
right.
that would ensure that she doesn't have to worry about anything like that happening again, whether intentional or inadvertent. So Helena's well within her well within the rules of
Right, but then it also becomes where do you draw the line? What if she scratched her nose, or what if she rearranged the button on her shirt or something inadvertently? I mean, could that be interpreted?
Well, the thing is, as an opponent, you're not on vacation while you're in the chair. As an opponent, you're still a part of the match. When your opponent is shooting towards you, you freeze like a statue if they're shooting. You know what I mean? That's part of your job to do that. It's not like you're just there, in your own world doing whatever you want. You play a significant part in the match when you're in your chair.
True. Yeah. Well, on the other table, we have Bustamante playing Jason Klatt. Bustamante leading 5-2. And they appear to be on break. Tournament director Ken Schulman has now entered the arena. The head referee has brought him over, and now there's going to be a clarification of what has occurred. But I do feel like there's a little bit of paranoia here, and this is not the first incident that I've seen this either. So, in that regard, I don't think it's premeditated. And can you imagine traveling on the road and playing pool pouring a glass of water? That is nothing. No, seriously. You have no idea what I've dealt with. But
I know. I know what you're talking about.
It's not just me. I don't mean to point it out to me. There's not a man player in this whole room that hasn't pour a glass of water. Efren wouldn't even bat an eye. And if it bothered him, he would chalk up and proceed. There would never even be a word set or a warning issued.
Well, but you were even saying earlier that Helena is
temperamental and emotional.
Right.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And if she feels that,
let me explain further, and this is where I disagree. I do feel that it's premeditated, and she sometimes uses this as a tactic against her opponent to disrupt her, and especially this girl. She's not that comfortable, or perhaps unaware. It's different. If it's premeditated, I completely agree with it, but I don't know that it's premeditated on the girl's part. So, and this is kind of a little bit of a tactic here. I think it's just as bad this way as to say the glass of water was bad. Is my point.
Well, at this point, it's gotten to where Helena's going to shark herself. She's going to take herself out of good concentration.
Well, yeah, maybe. She will get very militant, I can tell you that.
So it looks like the referee is going to give the opponent a warning. And any further
but I'm just saying,
unsportsmanlike conduct, quote unquote.
Yeah. Okay.
any other other pouring of water.
Right. No, but that's just it. If it's not just specifically pouring of water, how about when she's shooting this way and I go like this? And
you
scratch
shouldn't
my
do
shoulder?
that, Mark.
But what if I was okay?
You shouldn't do that. If your opponent's shooting at your body, I bet you've never. I bet you.
Right.
You're very conscientious enough not to move a muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I make it a point not to even blink.
Well,
if you're in the line
that far, not that nice a guy. I feel like
yes,
blinking.
You
I
are,
blink.
Mark. No, but as an opponent, the rule is you remain seated and motionless while your opponent's at the table.
Yeah.
So the rule's a rule.
Yeah, truthfully, I probably wouldn't have got up at that moment and poured a glass of water. I would have waited till at the end of the rack. I would have damn well got up and poured a glass of water.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can do whatever you want between racks.
Yeah. And so in that regard, I do agree with Helena So, who knows? Maybe Helena's right. Maybe I'm just too liberal. Because I probably wouldn't, even if I didn't speak the language. I wasn't from here. I probably still wouldn't do it, except in between racks without anyone even instructing me to do that.
Mm-hmm,
You know, so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some
And
smiles.
from her countenance, you can see that it was unintentional, and she understands, and we go on from there, back to the action.
And one thing, I certainly love her disposition regarding it. She smiled and agreed. So
that was great.
I'll tell you one thing, though. It does not take much to light Helena's fuse. And she's the sweetest girl ever off the table. But boy, sometimes in her competitiveness, it's not a pretty sight. Well, scratching is an issue here. So she has to be mindful of that, and that's what complicates the accuracy of this shot.
Mm-hmm. At this point in the match, facing a shot like this, Mark, that's not a 80-90%er, particularly with new cloth and whatnot, it might not be a bad idea to cross this ball and leave it, in the middle of the end rail.
Mm-hmm. That was a very good try. Not an easy shot, especially back on the. She would have had a nice position, and she was very smooth with her stroke mechanics there. So she did miss the shot, but she doesn't seem to be showing any ill effects.
I don't know. I like the safety there better. Just only because of what has happened, of the score.
Mm-hmm. No, right. Yeah, that was one of those in between. You can, if you're feeling a little bit doggish, uncertain, that's probably better than not turn the table over on unforced error. I would agree with that.
Okay, Helena's shooting that direction. Let's see if Jolie moves a muscle. Just as I suspected. That might have affected Helena more than it did her opponent, huh?
Yeah, truthfully, she did not even threaten the pocket with that. It wasn't like it rattled up. I mean, Jolie's ball, that was a reasonable attempt. That was a miss, and there was something going on there. But she wasn't nearly as focused as she was earlier in the match on those type shots.
Knock it in.
Good speed.
Now all of a sudden it looks like it's going to be a one-game match.
Points to the pocket. Now, in this case, you don't really have to call the 10 no, isn't it? Assumed to go straight here, or do you have to call the 10 Melinda?
If it's obvious, you don't have to. Anytime you're going to bank a ball or shoot a combination, you need to call that before you shoot. But or if it's a situation where you could play safe or pocket the ball,
Right.
you need to call it then, too.
But in this particular instance, we all assumed that would be the pocket. It'd be preposterous to say a pro.
Right.
It's never going to bank 3 cushions in the side or anything. All right. Helena Thornfeldt still leading 3-2. We're seeing a little bit of a momentum shift here.
Let's see if Helena can reestablish her.
Well, it all starts with this break shot. That's one of the shots that she's known for. That's how she got to be the sledgehammer. 10 ball's a much different rack to break, though, and balls do not go in nearly as freely as they do in 9 ball.
Well, you know how weak my break is, Mark. Jay's amazed. He said, I break 10 ball better than I break 9 ball.
Maybe you concentrate more about being accurate or something. I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
I guess the rack agrees with your break. But you grew up as a straight pool player, Belinda, and I think that always will haunt you in terms of the break, the power game part of it. I noticed that with some other players, too. Some of the men players, they're never as keen about 9 balls. They were passionate about straight pool, and they possess the skills to be much more dominating than they were in 9 ball, but they just didn't care for the game that much.
I played in an 8 ball tournament, a month or 2 ago. I had the most fun I've had in a long time. It was so much fun, not having to worry about the ball going in the pocket, the whole thing, the entire time. You were just negotiating the rack, The ball going in the hole was secondary. Oh, it was, it's always a joy to be able to play when that's your job, not making the balls, you know?
Plus, the shots aren't numbered for you, so that entered in some of the straight pool knowledge that you had, ball management, decision making. Where now there's not that many decisions to be made. Jolly does not succeed totally on the save.
I wonder how the 2-9 is lined up.
It definitely looks awkward. That's the 6-9 on the end rail. Oh, the 210.
Did I say 9? I'm sorry. 210.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, okay.
Spoken like a true 9 ball player.
Folks, don't listen to us. Just watch your own match here. You'll probably learn more.
Mark says, that's the 6.
I see what you're saying now. She was able to make the...
Left herself a window.
Oh, this is tough business here, this cut shot. Safety, good decision. Yeah, good smart decision. 6 and 9 really do not go, and it's not an easy way to find yourself down table. So good job there, Helena. Didn't try to do too much. Didn't play a perfect safety, but did not take any chance of dislodging the 6 and the 9.
And left some distance in a awkward angle. Didn't overcut that one.
She's really smooth on those kind of shots. I know you feel this way, Belinda, but isn't it just a great joy to come and watch world-class pool?
That's what I'm saying. Obviously, it's wonderful at the women's events, but just you can go to a men's event and have a great time. You can go to a women's event and have a great time. But when you put them together, it's just exponential. It's not twice as good. It's exponentially better.
Well stated. And we used to play it so often back in the day when it was men's and women's side by side, and it makes so much more sense. One, it draws a bigger crowd. and it cuts way down on the expense of setting up a venue separate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just makes it's so logical. Well, pretty good challenge now for a left-handed player. Might be get out the bridge time. I don't know if she can reach this naturally left-handed. Do you?
Depends on how limber she is.
I see.
Actually, what does she look about? 5'6", 5'7", 5'6", maybe? Nope, she's going for a bridge head.
Or an extension.
Oh, an extension, yeah.
Huh.
That'll work.
She'll be able to reach this though? Boy, that's even tough for me, and I'm much taller than she is.
I think with the extension she'll be able to.
Yeah, you're right.
I've got a...
What
oh,
a
she
shot.
playing
What a shot. Can we clap? That's probably inappropriate. I don't want to get reprimanded, but that was a tremendous
beautiful,
shot.
huh?
Yeah.
And it's she can reach it left hand. Well, let's see. Can she reach this one or not?
I don't know. I have to use a bridge on this one myself, so but I'm not left-handed. That.
She's looking where she wants to play. Yep, she can reach it. She has to be careful not to foul the cue ball. You know, when the balls are close like this, Mark, I like to shoot over the top of the ball. In other words, as you're cueing, come up and over the cue ball so that there's no possibility of fouling the cue ball. I have a cue. It's a telescopic cue. A fella, and I believe he's from New Mexico, Arizona, somewhere, made for me years ago. I just had been in retirement. I just brought it out recently, and I really put it to good use. You know, it extends, and you can reach all kinds of shots that you wouldn't be able to. I had gotten away from using the, well, just because I hadn't been playing and hadn't used a bridge in a long time, because not playing competitively, you just move the ball or whatever when you're practicing by yourself. And my skill with the mechanical bridge had diminished considerably. So I was worried about, you know, having to use that in this event. I got my telescopic cue out and tried it out at home, and it was very useful.
Very thin hit. Oh,
Managed
good
to
shot.
Managed to
Good
miss the
shot.
10.
Nice speed too. Boy, that was not easy. She made that look pretty smooth, but that was not that easy what she did. That was
Severe cut into the side pocket.
That was really the shot of the rack here, even better than the breakout of the 6-ball. This would be a heck of a run out here. To my estimation, this particular run out should be worth 2 games if I was awarding points for the difficulty. No, really, very hard. A lot of things had to go just right here.
And she set up the play for herself, like in basketball. If you're a guard, you can make your own play. She set up this play with her, with the safety that she played.
Right.
She got her own assist.
Yeah, that's nice. She's playing 2 cushions. Yep. This is the way, the preferred method. Hit the middle of that side cushion over there and drop down. Point to the pocket that she intended to play the 10 in. We already knew that.
It's been a heck of a rack.
Mm-hmm. 10-ball finds the bottom of the pocket, ties the match, 3 games apiece. Okay, very good. Well, it's a race to 4 from here. Jolly Definitely finding a little momentum here.
Yeah, we started off with a 3-0 lead, and it's now 3-3. I'm wondering if Helena's questioning her move as far as, taking so much time. I mean, she even said herself, I'm not missing the ball. And let's just say I think it definitely broke her concentration. Or, for sure, the momentum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. There's not very many players that play well with negative energy. And the ones that come to mind might be like, say, Earl Strickland or John McEnroe. However, they didn't believe what they were saying themselves. They were completely unaffected by it, but if they drew you into it and they got you upset in the least, they would kill you once you got down to that level because they're so used to playing in all that chaos,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an interesting thing. McEnroe would have a big blow up and then play great tennis thereafter, but it's because he wasn't involved emotionally. He just sounded like he was. And I think Strickland too. And people criticize Earl, but I have to say he's a good guy. He's got some problems. I don't agree with his behavior and antics all the time. But he's kind of ravaged by some demons beyond just trying to be premeditated, calculated, and despisable.
Well, this is just what Helena was hoping for, an open opportunity to reestablish her command in this match.
Good shot there. She is pocketing the balls freely, I will say. I've watched a lot of her pool games before, and she is playing better.
So, Mark, you're going to use some inside here and come between the 10-6, or you're going to...
Well...
with that 5 and 9 there, it's a little tricky. Although, you kind of want to be on this rail.
Right.
You could just
go
to the right. Yeah,
a little bit of left English. Just get over to the center of that side cushion. She's going out. This is okay.
Watch out.
As long as you use enough speed to clear.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That was dangerous. I didn't like that. I mean, you're taking a chance there.
Yeah, but
if you catch the ball a little full or a little thinner, I mean...
True. And getting here did not really aid her to get better on the 5. That's the only thing. You're taking some risk, but there's not enough of a reward there to warrant any risk.
Yeah, just one rail float over to the right side as we see it.
Right.
And now she's got the proper angle. It'll just naturally come out for the 5.
If she could get the cue ball back where it's at now, then she could go ahead and roll forward. Even if she got a little too severe of an angle, she can drive the 9 into the cluster of 6 and 8 to dislodge it. So,
or if she could get the right angle, she could shoot the 6 in the bottom left.
well, she's looking at getting in the corner where she could just roll ahead. That would be nice too.
Mm-hmm.
That's good speed. Well played. Now she can just roll ahead.
Mm-hmm. That'll work. Well, I think she might be over her distraction.
Yeah, this is the best I've seen Helena play in a long time. This event. Now, I haven't watched it the last couple of years, but and some couple of years before that, before I saw her pocketing balls this freely. Moves the 8 a little closer to the pocket. Good decision.
Yeah, that way she doesn't have to do too much with the 7. The 8-ball's causing her a little problem.
Just calling the referee. Oh, no. Helena's going to view this as a distraction, but I don't blame her because there is an object ball foul possibility here.
You stand behind me. If they ain't moves, okay, you'll be good.
It does make it a little trickier when your bridge hand's compromised somewhat.
Right.
Well, she decided to bridge behind the 8 and lengthen her bridge out.
Good shot.
And she was able just to cinch that ball because she had moved the 8 closer to the hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it was a good decision back when she made it.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be a lot of work to get close to the 7, so she just decided to move the 8 closer and help herself that way.
Helena doesn't really like to roll balls too much, but looks like she's going to have to do that on this 8-ball to hold it for the 9.
Yeah, very good.
Let's see. Jolie broke this rack, right, Mark? It's Helena running out from
Yeah,
the
I
1.
think so. Yeah. She won the leg. Bustamante in the adjacent table is putting on a 10-ball clinic, leading 8-2 over Jason Klatt. That's a race to 10. Good shot there, Helena. Drew the
Nice shot.
cue ball out of the scratch. Collects her 4th win. She now leads 4-3.
So have you watched any men's matches, Mark, since you've been here?
Oh, yeah. Reyes and Peggy Lyon last night was unbelievably good. And
What did that end up, 10-8?
10-8. Reyes led by 3 games at one point in the match. Very well played match. And came right back with Chris Melling playing Johnny Mora, and it was a great match. But I was kind of spent from the previous ones. It's kind of a funny thing. I got all emotionally tied into the, and there was sort of a letdown, even though it was extremely well played.
That
Kind
was
of a
more
funny
sledgehammer-like.
Yeah, look at that ball action. Yeah, that's the break that wins tournaments.
Owned it before it goes in the side.
Well, at the very least, I think she could rub the 7 in off the 4. She had to. It's kind of funny, too. Sometimes shots that I think really are laying pretty tough, and they handle them with such ease, you know, and then other times I think things go, and then they don't shoot it. So we're at a kind of a precarious perch. We're about 25 feet from the table, and we're about 6 feet in the air.
Different perspective.
Yeah. It looks like she can handle this one okay. She seems content that she can, and she does. Now this is going to be iffy now. She's going to have a hard time reaching this, and there's obstructions. Yeah. This is when the old object ball foul can sometimes come into play.
Yeah, she's going to make sure she doesn't.
I don't know that she can muscle draw back there reasonably well from there with the bridge, do you?
And pocket the ball is the question.
I know, Helena's calling the referee out earlier, so. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah, if she successfully gets back in the three, it's going to be a heck of a good shot. I think she recognizes low percentages at a hand. Might even consider playing safe here.
Crossing it.
Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah,
I
she's
think
going to play
she's
safe.
crossing it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's going to play safe. That's a good decision, too.
Oh, that 10 ball sure helped her. That was a juicy little roll.
Yeah, score 4-3, race to 7. For all you viewers at home, at 4:30, we got more live coverage. Winners bracket action will be Monica Webb versus Allison Fisher. On the men's side, we have Wang Kan and Mr. All-American SVB, Shane Van Boning. A couple feature matches, but every match is going to be a feature match from here on in. The stellar fields that we have.
That's a heck of a lineup there. I understand Shane's hitting them pretty good.
Yeah, he just beat Dennis Urcola, a big match in 10 ball out at the Tar match.
Oh, yeah, he beat him pretty good, too, didn't
Yeah,
he?
right. Resoundingly.
2 in the side.
Well, here's a way to break out that 4 mark.
I don't know if I got the nerve for that.
Off the 7? 2 on the side?
Well, the 7's out from the pocket.
Yeah, but it's out from the pocket, but the alignment of it is perfect. You know what I mean? To the side.
Oh, good
Just like
call,
that.
good call, Melinda. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Apparently the 4 goes in the side based on the way she played position there.
Looks like a few stop shots away. Elevated cue. And you know, some people can be critical or look at it as a weakness. To me, it's a sign of strength to be able to get up off a ball and get back on it if you're not 100% sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you shoot it because you're scared and just want to get it over with, but you get up and take your time because you want to. You're willing to add that extra effort to try
Right.
to ensure it.
Looks like Helena's going to take a 2-game lead.
You know, we were talking about the match length earlier. You know, I was kind of pondering that a little bit. You know, I think men's and women should just be a race to 8. I really do, because I think that's more fan-friendly, and I think we need to address rules for the fans if we're ever going to get this going. And I think a race to 8 double elimination is a fine length match of 10 ball and tough equipment. And while it's still relatively short, I think it provides more entertainment. And I also think what we really need is a race to 8, but we need to be able to play every week in an event like this. That's what I really think. And the reason to play it longer is that we only have 1 or 2 a year, and so you just
Right. You want to
whatever.
you want to
Right.
bleed as much pool out of it as you can. Yeah. I agree. I think a race to 8, both fields would be.
I'm sorry. Score now is 5-3, Thornfeldt over Jolly. Yeah, if we could play every week, how great would it be, you know? Something like this. Or even, you know, twice a month, say.
Right, twice a month.
Because a race to 8 is a nice length match. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours on a little bit slower match if the balls aren't. But it's exciting, you know, and I think that's got to be addressed. You got to keep excitement in there. I know when the men played races to 15-10 ball. Oh
my goodness.
Oh, and when just say the score is 13-4. Where is Dr. Kevorkian when we need him? You know, come on, it's over. Somebody put this thing to sleep. It was brutal for the commentators, the fan. And I love pool.
Was it alternate break or winter break, or when it was raced to 15?
I think it's winter break. Yeah,
was
winter
it
break. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 10 ball. I mean, come on. Yeah. When the score would get out of hand, well, even the audience was bored and disinterested. And sure, there's a 1% chance some guy could come back from 13-4, but I never saw it happen. You know, I mean, and I called quite a few of them. It's just too much of a match. That's okay if you want to gamble that way. It's not a good way to play a tournament.
Right. Yeah, that's too long of a race.
Now, like last night, Efren versus Alex, I could have watched the race to 30 and been very happy. You know, really, it was that good of a match to watch. Look at how this turned out.
Well, unfortunately, not everyone can play like Alex and Efren.
Right. But even for them, there'd be times when their matches wouldn't be interesting based on that length. You know, where 8 is always going to be, hey, something can happen here. You know,
right?
There's always that threat.
I agree with you, Mark.
I just think there should be more tournaments. That's what I think. That'd be great. How happy would you guys be playing twice a month like this? Right? I know the men would be. When I was helping the women's tour, and we had the tournament in Hollywood, Florida, many of the top men pros, I'm talking about John Schmitz and Stevie Moore, came up. So you guys have tournaments like this all? I mean, this is how it is? I mean, oh, man, this is great. And I'm like, well, actually, it's not really fully adequate, you know, and for what I was thinking. But for them, they were so starved, they thought it was just awesome what you guys had going on, you know.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of pitiful. No, it really was. Just because they were so starved for it, you know. Oh, boy. What a shot that. Oh, great effort. Great
little
effort.
double kiss there, huh?
Yeah, that was terrific.
She's got a big wall of balls to get behind down at this end of the table. With the one behind the 6. And
she looked over at Helena, and I thought she said safe. But when you call safe, what does that mean?
It means that you're playing safe, obviously, for one. And the other is that if you happen to pocket a ball, the incoming player would have the option. So if she would have played a safe on the 1 and say she bumped the 9 and the 9 went in, whatever, then the incoming player can accept the balls as they lie or have that player shoot again.
What if she doesn't call safe, plays the same shot, and bumps the 9 in?
Well, if you're going to play safe, you have to declare safe. In other words, if you don't play safe, if you don't call a safe, and say the 1 would have gone, that means she's playing the 1, so it would still be her turn. But if she does call a safe and the 1 goes, then the incoming player has an option.
Nonetheless.
the furrowed brow.
I'm still not sure, but anyway, we'll let it go at that. But I thought of a great tactic.
There's something going on in that brain behind that furrowed brow.
Very little, but nonetheless, I thought of a great tactic. If it's going to be a call shot game, and say you have a ball that is makeable but difficult, and you know you're really playing safe, and the person, your opponent, kind of expects you to play safe, possibly. You say, no, I'm playing it in the corner, and it's a long, tough shot. And then you shoot it for an intentional safety, but yet you act as if you're really frustrated that you missed, and then you get safe. Now your opponent's kind of aggravated, like he or she was shooting at that.
And got lucky.
And then, yeah, right. Psychological warfare, I was thinking of. That would be... My good old friend Jeff Carter taught me some of these tricks.
Jeff. Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't seen Jeff in way too long.
When you don't play well, Belinda, there's other ways to win these matches besides just out shooting your opponent. You have to think of those strategies and such. Yeah.
That would be a good one.
It's like I used to sometimes push out to a place I didn't want my opponent to kick the ball from, but I would go over and point to a different spot on the table, like I'm trying to get there, and then act a little disappointed I didn't get there. And then they would say, "Go ahead," and then I'd like, "Boop, kick it, safe."
Mark,
Well, there's a bluff.
I didn't know you were so deceptive.
There's a bluff. You gotta have a bluff, otherwise they would go up there and look at it. So,
Well, you must have learned that from playing poker.
actually, from my good friend Jeff Carter. He was always reminding me of like a wolf in sheep's clothing that didn't quite fit up the way. 2 ears and a tail was sticking out. You kind of do like that. It's not a little lamb here.
Jeff Carter.
Yeah, he's a good friend. Character.
Nice guy.
Does the 4-ball go here? Apparently so.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
But that's
Not
not
a
good.
good shot. No, not a good shot. She meant well. And it was all good till it came back on
Where
the
is
table.
she? I wonder where she thought the 4 was.
Helena, so as to not be distracted, is calling the referee out on herself.
I was gonna say,
I sort of like
yeah.
that. I sort of
Mhm.
like that. If you know it bothers you, then go ahead and get on out of here and let's end that. Because otherwise she fears that she'll be up there shooting and all of a sudden he'll appear in the corner of her eye, which that would bother anyone.
Well, and then she's staying in control. She's not allowing her opponent to call the referee.
No, that's true too.
She's not giving any control whatsoever to the opponent,
Yeah.
even when it comes to calling the ref. Helena's kind of a on my terms type of gal. Oh, just missed it. Okay, this is a big opportunity for Xiao Li. She's got an open table. Definitely needs to consolidate this opportunity.
Can she reach it?
No.
Does she play right-handed? Yeah, or else it's the bridge, I guess.
I guess the bridge. I'm surprised she didn't go for her extension. She looks like she has good technique.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful shot. Clearly comfortable with the bridge. Some people look very awkward. A lot of people detest the bridge. One time I was playing a guy and he was clearly spooked by the bridge, and as he was getting out, he kept chanting to himself, "The bridge is my friend, the bridge is my friend." I thought that was so funny. If you're just joining us right now, this is Mark Wilson, Belinda Calhoun, coming to you live from the Ultimate 10-Ball Championship. So glad you're here. A lot of coverage. If we get the droning on, sometimes we get a little dingy here if it goes on. Hopefully we'll keep it focused on the match.
Nice stroke.
A little too effective. Might have got too straight in here. She didn't hit it hard. She just got so much spin with that good stroke. That will complicate matters.
Well, she better resign herself to the fact that she just needs to shoot a longer 8. Does she have a hair of an angle? Looks like she can go to the rail and come out, yeah. Oh, well, she had plenty of angle.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Looks like she'll just kind of make a stun shot, trickle the cue ball a few inches ahead. That would pull her back within 5-4. She can convert this into a win.
Critical.
Rolled it in smoothly. I thought she might stun it forward, but I prefer this decision. And boy, she's got a nice fluid stroke, doesn't she?
There was, yeah, it's gorgeous. There was a guy in the pool room years ago that would have said, she saint that ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice stance, very nice mechanics. Stays very still through her stroke delivery.
Her wrist is nice. Looks like she's not showing a little signs of nerves there.
And it's now 5-4. The sledgehammer will be breaking here. That's Helena Thornfeldt.
Helena would like nothing less than getting on the hill this game. That'll put a little pressure on your opponent.
But yeah, you have to win 3 in a row. It's been an entertaining match so far. It hasn't been a run-out festival, but there have been some good safety, some good kicks, some very nice shots, a couple of errors.
Actually, I think they both played good.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Good quality. It started off like it might be a runaway.
All right. Yeah, Helena is playing well.
So she switched sides of the table, it looks like, Mark. See if she gets any better result from this side. Although it seems like she made a ball last time she broke. I'm surprised she moved.
You know, sometimes you see that, and it's the weirdest thing. I'll see somebody have a real good break, and then all of a sudden they switch to the other side. I was like, well, but they go up and look at the rack. I don't exactly understand what they're looking at, but I mean, I understand when there's a gap and then there's one side that plays better than the other. But boy, if I just rained 3 balls in on my last break, I'm hard pressed to make myself move. But they do it, and they get good effect both sides.
The only way you move would be at gunpoint.
Sometimes to my own detriment. And sometimes I get pig-headed. I have a favorite spot, and I'm not making balls, but I know I'm hitting them good. And I know if I switch, I won't be hitting them as good. And so I just, yeah.
But you gotta hit them good.
Yeah, I lose with my good break anyway. Doesn't make anything.
That was
Nice
a
shot.
Nice safety there. She's got
Yeah, very controlled.
I think she can spin it enough to go one rail. Now here's where you want to just in case, call the 10 ball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I think she can see a sliver of it.
Yeah, right. Good point. Belinda's saying if you're kicking at the one with a little bit of velocity, just call the 10 ball no matter what. Not a great save, but not ball in hand either, which,
Right.
you know, this rack plays so much simpler with ball in hand than having to play from here would.
Well, she did play the object ball speed nicely, didn't come off the rail too much, but she bumped into that 8 ball. Maybe something she could have tried and avoided, because as thin as that ball was, she could actually use a little inside and miss that 8 ball.
The 8 ball that Belinda's talking about is what we call the 2 ball.
Oh.
For the rest of us.
The 2 ball. The one that's close to the cue ball right now.
It's a good shot.
Helena smells victory. That's got to get up. That's got to get up.
Well, we're going to have a half mass A to a safety here.